I can make some really nice curls. Hey friends, welcome back. I am Jason Salyer, and it is finally here, the On3 EDC. I have been carrying this blade for a month and a half, 2 months, something like that. This specific one, we've been working on lots of different prototypes, but this is the final model here. This is what you're gonna get. Different color handle, probably, but for the most part, this is exactly what you will see. It has a 2 3/4 inch blade. It has a 3 3/4 inch handle made out of micarta. The steel is 52-100, very, very high quality steel, and has been tempered to perfection. I have used and abused this thing in ways that I would not recommend that you use a knife, and it has held an edge really, really well. And if it does need to be touched up, I've only had to touch this one up once or twice, and it's very easy to get it back to to a serviceable edge. And this thing is razor sharp at the moment. I found this knife to be super, super handy. It's the perfect size. It does everything that I need it to do. I don't even notice that I'm carrying it because it's light and it's small, but it does everything that a large knife will do without question. The handle has been shaped for a very specific reason. One, I can place my index finger in that little bevel there, that contour, and that makes for a perfect grip. So even in the dark, if I grab this knife, I know exactly where my hand needs to go. And I really like that a lot. Also, it allows it to snap into a Kydex sheath very securely. These are screws and not pins, not just straight through pins. And it's squeezing, it's pushing the scales of the handle onto the steel. And that makes it for a very, very strong handle. I have been wearing my knife on a tech lock. I like the tech lock a lot. These holes in the sheath are designed very specifically so it'll take all of your standard kind of clips and locks and all that kind of stuff, belt loops. But I like a tech lock because I can take it on and off my belt very, very easily. It will not come with a tech lock. It will come on a lanyard as if you're going to wear it as a neck knife. And yes, I am going to use my knife to take these screws out of the sheath because that's how I use my knife. It's a tool, right? I use and abuse the thing. If I'm across the field way over on the other side of the creek or something and I need a screwdriver and I shouldn't happen to have one, don't have my multi-tool in my pocket or something like that, I'm going to use my knife because that's what men do. For liability reasons, and because a lot of people seem to be concerned with strangling themselves with a neck knife, it's going to come with a quick release kind of plastic snap, and it's just going to pull apart if you want it to snap free. But I will usually just cut that off if I'm honest, and I will do a fisherman's knot, which looks like this. You take one end and you do just a simple overhand knot around one end of the line, leaving a little bit of a tag end, like so. And then you do the same thing on the other side. A simple overhand knot, leaving a little bit of tag in so you have something to pull on to adjust it. And now you've got an adjustable neck knife. So if I want it nice and loose, I could take it on and off really easy over my head. But then when I want to snug it up so it's not so floppy, I just pull the tag ends, snug it up like so, pop it out, and it's ready for action. Another carry option for you in this configuration, the stock configuration as it comes, is going to be to put a girth hitch through your belt. So you take the end of your paracord through your belt, stick the blade through that loop, and now that cannot get lost. That can't go anywhere. And what I'll do is I'll just take my knife and I'll stick it into my pocket in this fashion right there. And then the very end of my handle sticking out, and if I need to grab my knife, if I need to get a hold of the thing, it's there, pull, and I'm ready to get to work. And I won't lose my sheath. I don't like pocket clips. I've lost quite a few knives with a pocket clip. If you want to put a pocket clip on there, you can definitely do that. That's definitely an option for you, but that's not my preferred way of getting it done. And if you want to conceal it even more, you want to bury it all the way down in your pocket like this, that's definitely a thing you can do as well. And there's a reason why I wanted that bright orange cordage through the lanyard hole, because if I was to drop my knife under a bunch of leaves and whatnot, that bright orange cordage really stands out, and it's going to be easy for me to find that thing. The On3 EDC has a sharp 90-degree spine, which means that it will scrape tenders off of small branches and things, allow you to fuzz up some sticks and get yourself an easy way to get some tinder going, but it will also strike your ferro rod really, really effective. I mean, it throws giant big sparks because that has been sharpened to a really good 90 degrees. If you untie this, it actually has tinder inside of that cordage. Peel back that outer sheath, and then that red stuff right there is your tinder. So even on this wet stump, I'm pretty confident I'll be able to light this stuff up really good. I'll just take the back of my knife and rough it up a little bit. Probably don't even have to do that. It just makes it a little bit easier to ignite. And there we go. Minute 10. So about a minute and 10, minute 15 seconds is what that small little ball of tinder there. And if you added that to some marginal tinder, you'd be good to go. Now, as you can see, this Puko type blade does not have a finger guard on there, and that is by design. I don't like a finger guard because I want to be able to choke way up on the knife and get close to where the action is. A lot of people have voiced concerns about that, but the lanyard can be used to prevent any slippage up onto the blade. If you put your finger through there, you can obviously adjust the length of this based on the size of your hand, but if I put my ring finger in there, it works pretty much perfectly. I can still get the solid grip on the knife, and I cannot run my hand up onto the blade because that is preventing that from happening. Full flat grind with a convex edge. I like a convex edge because it's really, really durable. It holds an edge for a long time, and I don't have time for maintenance. That's another thing. I just don't have time for maintenance. I want my tools to be used and abused and work for me, and I don't want to have to do all this stuff to maintain this finely tuned thing. This is a workhorse of a little knife, and it can take the abuse because of that convex edge. But it still does a fine job of making feather sticks. So if I need to access the inner wood of this stick, it's a fine enough edge because of that full flat that I can do that. I can make some really nice curls. I'm not the best at that. That's skill related, not knife related. But it does the job. And now I've got some, even though the outside of this is completely soaking wet, the inside is very dry and will light right up. I've actually used this quite a few times while I've been riding on the tractor bush hogging, and I need to get some briars or something out of my way so it doesn't drag across my face. I just stick my hand through the lanyard and give myself a little chopper like this, and it actually does a pretty amazing job for such a tiny little blade, a 2 3/4 inch blade. It does an amazing job of doing some chopping. So even on like something bigger, such as this right here, I'm through. And that is really the essence of why I wanted to design a knife like this, is because it's small enough to carry all the time. You don't even notice it's there, which is fantastic, but it's big enough to do 99% of the job that you need a knife for. You don't even know how many times it took me to throw that knife at the tree to get to stick in exactly the right spot with the camera zoomed in like that. but it was bouncing off the tree and off the ground, and I think it hit a rock a couple times, and handle is secure, no issues. Obviously, I wouldn't recommend that you throw your knife around, but I guess if you had to and kill a zombie or two, it's a good option. So after using and abusing your knife like one will do, touching this knife back up is really, really easy. Just a few strokes on a fine diamond stone like this with almost no pressure at all, just the weight of the knife essentially. And that's why I like these convex edges, and I love 52100 steel, because it's easy to sharpen, holds an edge for a long time, and it doesn't require any really highly skilled sharpening techniques because of that convex edge. There's a little bit of room for error, and I can appreciate that. But after throwing it on the ground at a tree, digging it in the dirt a couple times, abusing tools like I do, it is back razor sharp. I don't know if it was ever not razor sharp after doing that, but you get the idea. I don't oil my knives. I don't do any of that stuff. The most that I'll do if it does get a little bit of rust on there is I'll take some sandpaper to it and get that off of there. But for the most part, I do nothing other than just maintain the edge. That is it. No other maintenance required for a knife like this. The blade length is designed specifically to be able to use for butchering animals, field dressing deer, turning an animal into food. This is perfect for it. What I generally will do, especially when I'm like gutting an animal, I don't want to get into the entrails at all or the stomach. I'll stick my finger on the tip of the knife like that to protect the point, so it doesn't dig into. If you've ever field dressed a deer or something like that, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But you don't want to have that point exposed, and you can stick your thumb right here in that bevel, in that contour, and then the tip of your finger right there to protect the point of the knife, and it's the perfect size for that. If you should choose to carry the knife on a tech lock like this or some other belt clip, this knife sheath has been designed really well by Garrett. He's the one that's the mastermind behind the Kydex there. It tilts the knife forward just a little bit, and I think that makes it really easily accessible, easy to get a hold of if it's on the hip, because it tilts forward. If it was straight up and down, it's a little bit harder to get to, not impossible. But that tip forward, grab the lanyard, knife comes out, ready to rock. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. And if you want a really high quality knife that you can use, abuse, it's big enough to do almost every single thing you could ever imagine a knife needing to do, but small enough to carry every single day where you don't even notice it, then the On3 EDC is what you want. Go to Bear Forest Knives. There will be a link in the description. And Garrett Tremblay will hook you up. He is a really, really high quality knife maker, stands behind his work. If you ever should have any issues whatsoever, he will make it right. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.